This is the concierge, sir.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Concierge Confidential. I'm your host, Brian Ortega, and in today's episode, this is the most important meal of the day, as said by everybody older than you, and that is breakfast. We will be talking about breakfast on today's episode. We're going to be talking about the best places to get breakfast, some of my favorites that are on the strip, some that are downtown, some that are actually off the strip, and it's one of those meals that you honestly should not be paying too much for, but honestly, it always ends up being more expensive than you think it is on Las Vegas Boulevard. But we're going to be covering some standard breakfast spots, some quick breakfast spots, and we'll also be covering some brunch spots that are extremely popular. So we'll be diving into that coming up next. Okay, let's go and dive into this episode today, which is focused around breakfast. So breakfast is honestly, in my family, especially when they come to Las Vegas, and especially when my dad is with me, the absolute most important meal of the day, because it's really the only one that is like guaranteed that he's going to be at, because he tends to like really eat like a huge dinner. He does like lunch. He does like to sort of snack at lunchtime, but breakfast is really like my dad's most important meal that he actually like is ready to eat and really like looks forward to. So we'll go over a couple of them. So probably the most, and there's always like different ways to look at this. So some people love very extravagant breakfasts. Some people like something to grab and go. My family is not a grab and go family. We do not do like Starbucks breakfasts, honestly, like ass, to be honest, guys. I actually would go to California with my friends, and I would always drive. So I would stop at McDonald's like first in town, so I can eat while everybody else is like sleeping or whatever as they're driving. And then we would always get to like Barstow or somewhere in between, not Baker. But yeah, it's either, I think it was Baker or Barstow. And we would always end up going to the same Starbucks, and they would get like breakfast sandwiches and coffees. And I thought that was like the most ridiculous thing, because a breakfast sandwich sold out of like Starbucks or any coffee shop, I think are the absolute worst things in the entire world. That's coming from somebody who eats at McDonald's, so I totally understand your gripes with that. But I just have never been a fan of grab and go. So there is a grab and go option that I will be mentioning on this episode as overrated, which I think most of you are going to figure it out as we get there. So. There's no real like rhyme or reason to how I'm going to do this list. I'm kind of just like rattle off some of my favorites and why I like them. And so we'll just go and dive into it. So I love a good classic 24-hour cafe. So we are actually going to be starting. This is actually closer to my neck of the woods, and that is the Coronado Cafe at South Point. This place is no frills, old school cafe that you would find like back in the 90s, even the 80s. And this place is so delicious. They're open 24 hours, which is amazing. That's how you know it's a really good old school Vegas cafe. They actually do a special midnight special or midnight menu. So from midnight until I believe 6 a.m., you can do the world famous steak and eggs for I think only $4 or $5. So it is an absolute steal to get your steak and eggs at that time. And it's like, a pretty decent sized steak, eggs, obviously. The eggs are always delicious. My little tip for everybody is that if you want the best French fries, is to order French fries in the morning. So sometimes I'll wake up and then I end up just really wanting a BLT at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. And a lot of people are still eating breakfast at that time. So the fries have to be cooked fresh because they don't have fries sitting there. So they have to fry them up special. So morning time, typically you will get the best French fries from the Coronado Cafe. But I love the Coronado Cafe. Very, in terms of reasonable pricing. This is, again, like I said, located at the South Point. There is a line to get in there, but here's a little pro tip. If you do walk into the Coronado Cafe and you are a single person and there is a line, do not stand in the line. Go through the exit line. Just blow right past them, and then you can go to the counter where you can sit down. That's usually for singles or two people. It's really there for people who are there alone. But if you are a couple, you can just sort of get away with, just walking through and going all the way up to the counter and ordering like nothing happened. They do not do to go, so you do have to order it there. And if you want it to go, you have to transport it into a to-go bin, which is you have to do it yourself, basically. But really good, old school cups of coffee, really delicious soda when you're just like super, super thirsty. Is absolutely wonderful. So Coronado Cafe absolutely deserves a spot on my list. So let's get to the Strip because that's why you guys are here. So as we get to the Strip, probably one of the more popular places that we end up going is the America Cafe at the New York. This place has been here ever since I can remember being and going to the New York. Again, this is going to be a straightforward breakfast place. They do have a counter that does do donuts. They also do like cakes. This place is always full, but it's a very old school, like kitschy kind of breakfast spot. But again, it's very straightforward. I like that it's very, very easy to order here, and it's a great place to go with kids. It's a great place to go as sort of like, a drunken morning. This place has great pancakes. They have really fantastic pancakes here. So it's really, you can't miss the America Cafe. Very, very popular and very good if you want something quick and easy and simple. It's a really great spot. So, let's get into sort of like as we go down the Strip here. So a very popular spot at Park MGM, which is right next door to New York, is Primrose. So Primrose is very much going to be a spot that you go for brunch. It actually has a view of the pool area. It's very, very popular for brunch. It's very, very, girly and honestly, like the only reason to go here is if it's brunch time. They obviously do lots of spritz. That's always like a big deal there is they have lots of like Aperol spritz there. So very, very common. Also like Veuve Clicquot, very, very popular. So that's over at, what do we call it? Park MGM. They used to have like a really cool cafe there, but it's no longer there. Very, very sad days. Love the old school cafes. Old school cafes are fantastic. Another one of my really favorite spots, on Las Vegas Boulevard, and it's been here for a long time as well. I've had like late night eats here. I've also eaten regular breakfast here, and that is the Cafe Hollywood at the Planet Hollywood Hotel. Very, very straightforward cafe, really easy to walk into. I believe they are almost open 24 hours. Let's go and double check. So if we pop it open, it's always when you want to like actually like click on it and it doesn't work. But this is located at, like I said, Planet Hollywood. It's right on the casino floor, so you can't miss it. So this location, now we have to look it up. So Cafe Hollywood. So the Cafe Hollywood is open, not open 24 hours. They're open from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. every single day. They serve everything under the sun, so that's how it's nice. Because that's how it's good because it's a nice cafe. Highly recommend if you are going to be on the center strip. This is going to be one of your better spots to go, especially when you don't know what you want at that time of the day. That's a really great spot to hang out in. So another really popular spot, which is kind of funny, is Mon Ami Gabi. Mon Ami Gabi does open at 7 a.m. It's actually really great if you eat there very early in the morning because the sun is actually going to be blocked by the hotel itself. So you actually get a good bit of shade before you actually start getting hit with a lot of the sun over the Las Vegas Strip. So they do a lot of like French inspired things. So they have lots of croissants, pancakes, obviously, and of course, breakfast items, of course. So let's go across the street. So this is actually one that is actually very, very popular. And honestly, it's sort of like teeters in between being like normal and high end. I would actually put this in like the more high end category. And this is is Sadelle's over at the Bellagio. This spot, whenever you go to the Bellagio and it's 10:30 and you want to eat here, It is absolutely not happening. Not because you can't get in, but because the line is just so long that you wait in line so long that you're actually into lunchtime. This place does do lunch as well. They also, I believe, do dinner. At least they used to. But this place has a beautiful view looking out to the pools at the Bellagio. It's a very bright area. This was an awesome 24-hour cafe. I just want to go back to the days when they were just like regular cafes, but everything has to be branded. But this spot is extremely popular, really well known for their pancakes, of course, and basically anything under the sun they can make for you. The breakfasts are actually quite good. I really like the way they make their eggs, of course. The eggs Benedict are really popular here as well, probably one of their signature items. But this spot is definitely known for their breakfast. So let's go kind of backwards. Let's go back to the Cosmopolitan. So Cosmopolitan, this is where we're going to get a little bit controversial. The Cosmopolitan does have 2 breakfast options at the hotel. One of them being the Henry, which the Henry is a straightforward breakfast place, very expensive. This is very on par with what you would pay at Siddell's. So these places aren't what I would always recommend doing. Maybe like one day you do like one of these spots, but for breakfast, like for 3 people, you're probably looking at least $80 to $85. It is I would say that you want to be spending on the Strip. You're probably looking about $15 to $20 a person minimum for like a all-American breakfast, basically. So that's about $60. So Henry and Siddell's, you're probably looking at like the $85 to $90 range, depending on what you order. And again, they are very pricey spots to eat breakfast. But let's get over, and then again, the Henry, like they're fine. They make fine breakfast food. It was a very expensive meal one time when we ate there. So let's get to our controversial pick of the day. And this one, I'm coming after all my LA people and anything that you get transferred to Las Vegas. Honestly, we have to have a talk about, LA and their food culture where they just love standing in lines. I feel like Los Angeles is just lines on top of lines on top of lines. And they just stand there. And it's like what they do. They don't do reservations for very popular restaurants. I'm a big walk-up guy. Big into walking up to things. But the whole process gets thrown out the window when everybody has to walk up. So now, it defeats the purpose. But let's get into it. Let's talk about Egg Slut. Egg Slut, to me, is the absolute most overrated thing on Las Vegas Boulevard. And that's me saying it, that is the most overrated thing. Quite a big deal when you have things like the Eiffel Tower, things like the observation wheel, things like the gondolas. And me saying the Egg Slut is the most overrated thing that people genuinely love, I don't think is out of the question. This line for Egg Slut gets ridiculously long. It snakes around like closer to the bathroom when you're like at the Cosmopolitan. It's an egg sandwich. That's all it is. There's zero possible way that they're doing anything to this egg sandwich to make it worth waiting in this long, ridiculous line for. I could say this because Egg Slut will not be going out of business because I said it. They have so many people that love this place, but to me, it is just not worth it. Just don't do it. Pass on the Egg Slut. Go someplace else. So, with that being said, I am going to tell you that the Rainforest Cafe is definitely worth going to on the Las Vegas Strip. So the reason I say that, it is located right across the street, just outside of Planet Hollywood, basically on Harmon Corner, which is a very weird little section because it's separate from Planet Hollywood. But the Rainforest Cafe is actually 2 floors and very economical food. Good enough. This is a great place to take kids, obviously, and a great place if you're trying to save, a buck. This is a really fantastic spot to go. I know it is extremely touristy, but I don't care because it's breakfast. Who cares, man? Who's trying to impress at breakfast? Some people, who knows? But I do not mind, and it's just cool. Like you get a cool view of the Strip if you want to. Rest in peace to Twin Peaks that used to be on Las Vegas Boulevard. That bar was so cool. It was like 3 floors. They had a really nice bar that looked out at sunset time. It was magnificent. Really sad about it. Really, really sad. So let's make our way up the Strip. So on to Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace is where you can go to Cafe Americano. Funny story about Cafe Americano. Again, standard cafe, nothing too crazy. They do have a patio area, which is quite nice. They also have a nice bar area that I was, what's what I'm looking for? I was solicited? How do you say it when a hooker tries to pick you up? So I was actually there with my dad and my brother, so my oldest brother, and I picked them up from the airport, went to Caesar's Palace. We were having breakfast sort of on, like, at the bar area. I was also not 21, and I was sitting at the bar. But I was sitting there because I looked older. I think I was like 20 or 19. And I was talking to, like, this, like, more middle-aged lady. Like, she had to be 30s or 40s. Like, to me, she was, like, old. Now I'm 33, and now I'm like, oh, I would totally, like, have talked to a lady. So I was talking to this lady, going on and going on. And in my little brain at that point, did not know that she was a very, very expensive prostitute, call girl, however you want, or baby mama, not baby mama, what's the other one? Sugar baby, because she was just like putting off all the signals. Like she was like, yeah, this guy, paid for me to come out here and like we hang out, and now I'm just having breakfast before I go back home, and like I was not putting the pieces together. And now, like years later, I figured out that was probably I was not suave either back in the day. So I put the pieces together. Probably a prostitute, but good for her though. Good for her. Hopefully she's doing well. But Cafe Americano, also fun story about this place. So many stories that happen at this particular restaurant. Shout out to my mom, who's probably listening to this podcast. Is that long time ago? This had to be like 14, 15 years ago. So. We're eating, and it was like a big family like breakfast. So it was like, maybe 4 or 5 of us. And my mom pays with cash everywhere she goes. So she was paying with cash, and she took the money out and then like thought she put it on the like plate, like the thing. So we start walking, and we're like, because it's right near the lobby. So the Cafe Americano is right in the lobby of Caesar's Palace, the one where the hangover guys walk through, and asked if Caesar really lived here. And we're like halfway like in the middle of the lobby, and all you see is this waiter running from the restaurant saying, "Excuse me, ma'am," and like running after us. And my mom turns around, and he's like in his like apron, the whole thing. She's like, "Oh, like you forgot to like pay." And like it flipped it because it had to be like, let's just say it was like $125, and all my mom had out there was $25 because she thought she had put the 100 on into the little book, but she put it back into her purse. So my mom couldn't have been more embarrassed about it. Honest mistake, to be completely honest with you, but it was funny seeing my mom super flustered about this. I was like, yes, couldn't do it. Couldn't pay. You're trying to get away without paying to make you wash dishes. But yeah, really fun story about my mom being chased down by a waiter to pay our breakfast tab over at Cafe Americano. Cafe Americano, not super cheap, but a nice convenient spot, especially if you're at Caesar's Palace. Probably like one of the better breakfast spots inside of Caesar's Palace, to be completely honest with you. So yeah, I would say that's probably your best bet. They do have like a Giada's Grab and Go. I don't think it would be that good, to be honest. It looks fine. It's called Pronto. And it's fine. So then we get into like kind of like a weird spot in the middle of the Strip, because like Flamingo, Harrah's have lots of things. Like Harrah's has the hash-a-go-go that's on the Strip. I think hash-a-go-go is not good. It's for like people from, I don't know, Tennessee, and just like big portions. It's very Southern is basically what I'm saying. It's not my thing, but some people love that you get the huge portions here. You do get lots of Europeans that like to just sort of try out hash-a-go-go. I don't know how it got so famous, to be completely honest with you. I really don't get it. But I guess because it has like really big, gigantic like waffles and pancakes and huge things. But to me, they're not that good. But it's there if you want it. The one that you should know about if you end up going to the Flamingo is their Havana 1958, which is actually a very, very popular spot inside of the hotel. If you want to do like chilaquiles, which is actually more of like a Mexican thing, but they do like sort of bring all the Latin stuff all together. But they do breakfast there, so it's actually a nice little spot to go if you wanted to have something that looks out to the well, it used to be the flamingo habitat, but now it's just like the pool area. They still do have the flamingos at the Flamingo, just in case you guys were wanting to go there. It's a really great spot. So I know like I was gonna like do like my favorites, but you know I'll tell you when it's my favorite as we go down the strip, because I just think it's like easiest to sort of go that way is just to like kind of go down Las Vegas Boulevard and tell you some of my favorite spots as we get along the way. Nothing at the Hard Rock Hotel yet, although it's looking quite nice. A little update: they are starting to put the glass on the old Mirage building. So the guitar itself is finished. They just have to put like the finishing touches on the outside of the hotel. And now they're working on the Mirage windows, which is quite exciting. Every day, it's just cool that it's going to be here for forever. So, looking over at the Palazzo and the Venetian, they have so many restaurants here. But to me, you really can't go wrong with the cousin of the most popular restaurant in America, and that is the Grand Lux Cafe. The Grand Lux Cafe is actually the sister property to, what is it called? Oh my goodness. The Cheesecake Factory, which is why when you do go to the Grand Lux Cafe, you're going to notice that the menu is very similar, but really great for breakfast. And if you want to go for lunchtime they do actually half and half deals where you can get half a salad and half soup, or half a sandwich and half a salad. It's actually, or vice versa. So really great deals. The food itself, is actually very, very good. I would say it is a step above, like, it kind of sounds funny. It is a step above the Cheesecake Factory. So would highly recommend the Grand Lux Cafe. I think they do breakfast actually quite well. And they have really big rooms, and they're really great for large groups. And they do take reservations. So you walk in and you're good to go. Now we're going to be getting to the highfalutin part of town, and let's get over to the Wynn. So the Wynn itself, when we start talking about the Wynn, we are going to start talking about brunch. Brunch is very, very popular with the fancy folk. I am not a brunch person. I've never been a brunch person. Even when I worked as a concierge, people loved to talk about brunch. And I thought brunch was like the most useless activity that you can talk about. I've only been to brunch like maybe 3 times in my entire life. It's just because I want to eat food. Like I want to eat food, I want to go home. Like I want to eat and move. I don't want to do that. So one of the popular spots is the Terrace Point Cafe, which is actually beautiful. It's a very big room. They do have outdoor space where you can actually look out to the pool, and they actually have really, really good menu there. And it's just a beautiful restaurant. That's just like the same thing with like everything at the Wynn. It's just like, it's beautiful. So I do love just like walking by there and looking at it, but we'll just open up the menu, just take a look at it. So again, it's like a regular cafe. They do have like chicken noodle soup. They have their breakfast, however you want it. The breakfast, not cheap. So the breakfast here, for example, TPC breakfast, which is Terrace Point Cafe breakfast, it is $29. So it is like above our threshold of $20 for breakfast. So they do eggs, and they also do smoked bacon, breakfast sausage, chicken apple sausage if that's your thing. And they also do hash browns, of course, as well. No toast, though. Interesting they didn't put toast there. But again, ribs and churros. So most of their breakfast items are priced about $30. Their Eggs Benedict is $28. So for 2 people, you're looking at $60 plus tax, whatever. It's going to be like $75 at the end of the day. So just keep that in mind when you're going to Terrace Point Cafe, but it is a beautiful restaurant. I think it warrants the price. It's very similar to like Sadel's, where it's just very pretty on the inside of the building, and it's really quite fantastic. So Terrace Point Cafe, kind of worth it. They do also have another spot, which is extremely popular for brunch, which people would say you have to go here, and that is La Cave. So La Cave is actually located at the Wynn, and I'm actually just trying to pull it up so you can see. La Cave. There we go. La Cave. Very pretty on the inside. So this place is open for brunch. They also open for dinner, which is actually very interesting. Never heard anybody go there for dinner. But for their weekend brunch, it is Butler style tray passed, and it's 90-minute max. It's $54 per adult, $34 for children. And then this does come with Snicker pancakes, sugar, brown sugar pecan waffles. Pecan? That's cool. Wow. I think it's actually a pretty hard little place to get into. But their brunch is delicious. They obviously have fruit cups, yogurt parfaits. They do a New York egg sandwich. Also, another funny thing, as I've worked in sort of the Butler team, we get lots of people from the East Coast. You guys love your bagels, don't you? You East Coasters love a bagel sandwich, like a bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese. They do look tasty. I actually had to go to in-room dining one time, and they are quite nice. But that feels like so New York. Like anything with a bagel, like bagel sandwich, that means screams I was a New Yorker, and that's what I want now. It just seems like a lot of dough if you're doing a bagel sandwich, but I don't know. What do I know? So, La Cave, very popular for brunch. You can make a reservation, obviously. Highly recommend it. But La Cave, I have a friend, and he really enjoyed going to La Cave. He now lives in San Diego, so good for him. Shout out Andy. So, another spot, if you wanted to do early in the morning, it's not really breakfast, but Charlie's Sports Bar is open relatively early at the Wynn. Pretty good, not bad. I always get wings there. I always like to go there 11:30 and get some wings. They are delicious. So they also have Earth Cafe, very popular in Los Angeles, of course. But Earth Cafe, which I've never actually eaten there, can't really tell you how it goes. They also use Resi, which is a really weird way to make reservations. But very LA fare. They have their Earth Laguna breakfast. They also have their breakfast burrito, kind of standard stuff. They have chocolate pistachio waffle. Think healthy food. And so that's why I don't eat there. So that is over at the Wynn. Those are going to be their breakfast spots. But yeah, not bad. So as we move, they also have a little grab and go, which does croissants and such. Never had it, but I've heard it's pretty good. So as we move down the Las Vegas Strip, let's get to the next property, and that would be the Resorts World. Resorts World, they actually have a nice little cafe there as well. Pretty straightforward. We wouldn't have to go over it. But let's get right across the street, which then we start getting into the fun bits, and that is the Pepper Mill. The Pepper Mill and Fireside Lounge is a cafe, old school, 1970s, 1980s, where it's very psychedelic. They have really cool colored sugar on the tables, which is really fun, and their breakfasts are huge. It also is quite pricey. Again, you're probably looking at about $25 to $30, a plate. I would say around 25 is probably more realistic, but huge portions, very delicious, kind of tight booths, very, very old school. It's really nice to sit at the counter as well. The counter, you can look into the kitchen. They also do alcohol, of course, for their cafe. And with that, they actually have these beautiful cocktail waitresses that wear these big, giant, long black gowns. They will emerge from the cloth that covers the Fireside Lounge, very elegant, and then serve you your Bloody Mary. Very common in the morning times. But they used to be open 24 hours, but now they're open, I think, up until 10 or 11. It's not as late as you would want them to be. But Peppermill Cafe has really become an institution of the Las Vegas Strip and must be protected at all costs, just for my dad to be able to go there and eat breakfast and see the mayor. It was funny. I came from work one time, and I met them there, and I was like sitting down. I looked across the way, and I was like, oh, that's Mayor Goodman, our mayor, no longer the mayor, but she was the mayor at the time. And I was like, oh, that's Carolyn Goodman. That's our mayor, just eating at Peppermill. Really funny. Just my dad had no idea who that was. So as we continue our move, let's get over to where I work, and that is the Fountain Blue. The Fountain Blue, they do have a couple different breakfast spots. They have Vita, which is like a standard breakfast, nothing too over the top, nothing crazy, very straightforward. They do have a place I do want to highlight, and that is La Fontaine. La Fontaine is a French-inspired breakfast restaurant, very like white, very like cream color, like lots of like pastel pinks inside. It feels very, very, New York tea time, if you will. Very plush, very very textured space, a lot of round edges. They also have a beautiful little chair to bring out for your purse, very popular. But they're really well known for their like eggs Florentine. They're also known for their eggs Benedict and their extremely fluffy pancakes. They're called souffle pancakes, so they're actually raised just a little bit. And they actually don't like make you use, what is it? They don't make you use butter. No, they don't make you use syrup, which is weird because I like the syrup. So give me all the syrup next time when I'm over at La Fontaine. So we've run the gambit of Las Vegas Boulevard. Nothing that I can say at the Sahara because I don't go there very often. Sorry. But we can get down to, so like this is the thing, once we get into like sort of like the arts district, they actually have a couple different places like Makers and Finders, extremely popular place for like coffee as well as like breakfast pastries as well. I also like to go down there, and they have a place called 1228 Main, which actually does really fantastic bread. So if you want to do like croissants and something like that. Oh, croissant! That's for my nephew. My nephew likes to say that. I also like to go to Casa Don Juan. People like really don't like Casa Don Juan, but if I ever want like a Mexican breakfast, that's like one of the only places I know that does Mexican breakfast. I'll go there. It's fine. Like it's okay. It is what it is. Mexican food in Vegas kind of sucks anyways, to be honest with you guys. So on Fremont Street, lots of really pretty spots. So a really popular spot if you want to go for like brunch or like a really great, just like kind of a breakfast spot. This is going to be on Fremont Street. And I just have to actually find it. There we go. And this is... It's always nice when the map doesn't work. That's always good. So, before I get to that one, let's talk about the one at Circa. So the one at Circa is known as Saginaw's. Saginaw's, many people would tell you, is pretty overpriced, to be completely honest with you. But if you want to go to a nice, clean spot that also does deli sandwiches, that is actually going to be one of your better items, is if you end up going to Saginaw's. So as I sort of zoom in, there we go. Now we're getting there. There's a place called Evil Pie, which that's not what I'm trying to highlight here. It's called Park on Fremont. So Park on Fremont, really fun, like eclectic spot, very like, very hipster, honestly. Very hipster spot, known for their brunch. Really great for pictures, eggs Benedict, all that fun stuff. That's really what they're known for over at... I've eaten there like once, and it was like just fine. Like it's great for like smaller bite kind of things. There is a spot that I did want to talk about, which is at the El Cortez, which I wanted. It's a hot noodle bar. It's not what I wanted. The El Cortez, I think it's closed. I think it's like called Seagulls or something, and I totally forgot the name of it. So sorry guys, I can't tell you what the El Cortez has to offer because I'm not highlighting it good enough. So Starbucks, not what I wanted. Ike's, also not what I wanted. So I'm going to have to think about that one, guys, because I don't have it pulled up, unfortunately. But those are coming at some of the spots that I like to highlight. I do want to just shout out some breakfast spots. They're not on Las Vegas Boulevard, but they're kind of like close to me. Peg's Famous Bacon and Eggs. Love it. It's like a Hawaiian kind of spot, but it's like a regular breakfast place, but they do like really popular Hawaiian dishes. So that's on Eastern. It's on like St. Rose and Eastern, essentially, is where it's located. So that place is actually quite good. Winnie and Ethel. Winnie and Ethel has become super popular since everybody went there because they paid all the influencers to go. I didn't do that. I went on my own. And I love that place because they actually do they do waffles, Southern style. So kind of how they do, they used to do a Waffle House, and it is delicious. And that's going to be like on Charleston, right next to the, I believe, Hawthorne movie theater, which is under renovations. Super like local spot. Like, I mean, it's like very much hidden. Like when I pulled up, I was like, where am I? But there's really nice Roberto's right next door. But Winnie and Ethel, really delicious. It's very like old school, like 1950s, but also like Southern. It's a really kind of clashing of styles. But they also have all these different coffee cups that you can use to have your coffee. Always kind of depends on whether or not you like the coffee cup that you got. Another one that I wanted to highlight is nowhere near the Strip. It's very local. It's at the Suncoast, and that is my mom's favorite breakfast place, and that is Dupar's. So Dupar's used to have a location inside of the Golden Gate. Then it was bought by Derek Stevens. They've flipped it. They changed it. They no longer have that spot, which is where I would always go. But this is located at the Suncoast, and they are known for their ginormous, real word, pancakes. And they bring it with like clarified butter, which is even better, and it's super delicious. I love whenever I usually go over there because I'm going to see a movie or something. I always make a stop at Dupar's and have their pancakes, and they're just gigantic. They're the size, like bigger than your head. They're just like a short stack is good enough. They still have a couple in California. I believe the original location is closing, but they still have one, a Dupar's at, I believe, the Grove, which is, if not their original location, but their most popular location that's still up and running. So didn't find the El Cortez breakfast. But yeah, guys, I honestly think that breakfast is an item that you should try to like make the cheapest thing on your trip, because again, it's kind of all the same. Unless you do like a brunch. I know brunch is really popular. People love brunch, but it's just not my thing, so I can't really highlight it. But those are some of my favorite places that I like to go to. A lot of places that are really affordable. Some places more than others. Some of the fancy spots are obviously on this list. But it's really not a list. It's really just me listing some really good breakfast spots and kind of how I think about them. I didn't mention one at the Paris. The Paris has a really nice cafe. Very relaxing. And it's actually quite nice to sort of just listen to sort of the casino go by. It's kind of in the open. Unless you don't like smoke, and then you kind of have to deal with that. But it's not bad. By the way, the El Cortez, the reason I didn't see it is because Siegel's 1941, which is a very nice cafe, is no longer open inside of the El Cortez, so can't go there. So with that being said, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to the episode. If you want to follow me on conciergeconfidential_LV on Instagram. You can also follow me at Keys to Vegas on TikTok for any of our latest videos about Las Vegas. So thanks again, everybody. Really hope you guys have a great week. If you see me out in town, come up and say hello. But remember, keep it confidential.